Today, we're diving into a classic Ray Bradbury story from 1950 called There Will Come Soft Rains. Now, this is a story about a smart home that is so incredibly advanced, it just keeps on cooking, cleaning, and caring for its family even after they've been completely wiped from the face of the earth.
So let's start with the central, really eerie question that's at the heart of this story. Seriously, think about it. What if your smart home, the one that plays your music, brews your coffee, you know the one, what if it just kept going long after you were gone? Well, that's the unsettling world Bradbury drops us right into.
The story kicks off on what seems like a completely normal morning. It's August 4th, 2026, in Allendale, California. But here's the twist. The main character isn't a person at all. It's the house itself, this technological marvel that runs the entire day with a cheerful and, honestly, a deeply chilling efficiency. In this house, it is just relentless. It sings these wake-up calls, it cooks a massive breakfast, and then it announces it's time for work and school. But of course, no one gets up. The breakfast just sits there, it shrivels, and then it's automatically scraped away into the sink. It's this perfect clockwork routine, but it's being performed in a complete vacuum.
I mean, this house is a whole ecosystem of convenience. It anticipates every single need you could think of, from paying the bills automatically to warming the beds at night. It even prepares bridge tables and makes martinis for guests who are never, ever going to show up. It's a masterpiece of automation, and it exists purely for its own program.
But, as this perfect day keeps ticking by, the story starts dropping these really unsettling clues. We slowly begin to realize that this isn't just an empty house. Something is profoundly, terribly wrong.
And what Bradbury does so brilliantly here is he uses the absence of sound to create this feeling of dread. The house is filled with its own noise. You've got clocks ticking, machines whirring, but the human sounds, the simple sounds of life, they're just gone. And then, the story just pulls the camera way, way back and gives us the horrifying context. This isn't just an empty house on some quiet suburban street. It is the only house left standing. It is a technological survivor in a city that has been completely obliterated.
And this is how we find out what happened to them. The family was instantly vaporized in a nuclear blast, and their final, ordinary moments were burned onto the house's western wall like a ghostly photograph. These 5 silhouettes, that's the only tombstone they will ever have.
Yeah, Bradbury leaves absolutely no doubt about what happened. This was a nuclear catastrophe, a wound humanity inflicted on itself. And in a really terrible irony, the same human ingenuity that created this perfect futuristic home is exactly what destroyed its creators. Later that evening, we get to what is, for my money, the most poignant and heart-wrenching moment in the entire story. The house performs a favorite ritual for the absent Mrs. McClellan. It offers to read her a poem. Just imagine it. That polite, caring, programmed voice fills the silent study, a programmed act of intimacy directed at an empty chair. It's like a ghost in its own machine. And the poem it chooses, wow, it is devastatingly perfect.
So the poem it reads is by Sarah Teasdale, and it starts out by painting this beautiful, serene picture of nature just doing its thing. You've got swallows, frogs, plum trees, life just continuing on in its own gentle, indifferent rhythm.
And there it is. That's the core of Bradbury's whole story, delivered with this chilling irony by a machine that has absolutely no idea what it's even saying. Nature, the poem insists, wouldn't even notice if humanity just vanished.
This last bit just perfectly encapsulates the story's powerful message. The universe, nature itself, is utterly indifferent to whether we exist or not. And the house, in its blind, programmed obedience, becomes the ultimate symbol of that very same indifference.
And literally, the moment the poem concludes, the story just pivots on a dime. A simple, totally random act of nature. A strong gust of wind makes a tree branch fall and crash through a window. And that one little thing sets off a catastrophic chain reaction that the house just cannot control. A bottle of cleaning solvent shatters over the hot stove, and a fire erupts instantly. It's just incredible. After surviving a nuclear apocalypse, this technological fortress is brought down by a simple house fire. And the house launches into this desperate, automated defense. Alarms are blaring, sprinklers go off, and these little robotic water rats scurry out from the walls to battle the flames. It is pure mechanical panic,
a system fighting for its very life with every circuit it has.
But here's the thing, this is a battle the house was always destined to lose. Bradbury describes the fire almost like it's a clever, living thing, a force of natural chaos that easily outmaneuvers the rigid programmed systems of the house. At the end of the day, technology is just no match for nature's raw power.
And in its final moments, the house isn't described as a machine at all, but as a living thing. This is where Bradbury's writing is just phenomenal. He gives it a skeleton and nerves, which makes its destruction feel so visceral, almost like you're watching an actual creature die.
After a whole night of this chaotic self-destruction, the sun finally rises, and it reveals what's left of the last house in Allendam.
Nothing is left. Just smoke, silence, and a single, solitary wall. It's the final tombstone for a house that had so faithfully outlived its entire purpose, only to be destroyed by pure chance.
But then, we hear it, one final, haunting voice. From that last remaining wall, a single circuit keeps repeating the new date over and over again. It's the last echo of technology, mindlessly following its programming in the face of total, complete annihilation.
And that brings us to the story's final, chilling warning. Remember, Bradbury wrote this about the year 2026, the year we're in right now. As our own world becomes more and more automated, the question he leaves us with feels more urgent than ever. How do we make sure our own amazing creations don't just end up as lonely, pointless echoes in the ruins?